So welcome guys to the second Totus Townhall. I expect if you're here you probably know what it is, but just in case, it is our general meeting which we have decided to now broadcast to the rest of you guys, just so for like an easy way to be kept in the loop basically. As in the past we have sort of missed a few things that get talked about in general meetings and they don't get sort of passed down to you guys. So doing it this way, hopefully the people who are really interested in what's happening on the sort of admin side of Totus can join and just see what's going on firsthand. Obviously there are some things that we can't discuss in front of everyone, but we are doing our best to discuss as much as possible. Similar to the last one, what we'll do is we've got our own agenda that we are due to discuss anyway. So we'll be going through that, but if you guys, as we go along, have any questions about something that we've discussed, or if you had something that you want us to discuss anyway, even if we haven't like talked about it, then just feel free to type along in Town Hall, and we will respond as long as it's nothing silly. Yeah, maybe some silly stuff. You may notice that Princess's Kennel channel is gone this time around. It's just because sort of having two different Town Hall text channels.
Okay, I restarted the recording.
Okay. I'm not going to restart the intro though.
No, that's fine. I got that part.
Alright, okay. So, just to recap on what we've done today, we have sent out reminders to the people who haven't yet submitted their proof for trusted or verified, depending on which one they're eligible for. So the current stats sit at, let me just see. So we have 289 members at the moment, and we had to send out reminders to 180 of those. So that means 180 people haven't yet either updated their sheet or haven't sent us proof or anything like that. So they have till obviously the 1st of next month to do that, otherwise they will be removed. What I was saying just now when we were in office, it would have been nice to like have a sort of comparison to see how many we removed last time in comparison to this time, but yeah, we don't have that anywhere. So I think this time round, I anticipate more will be going this time round, to be honest. It feels like just the nature of the fact that we have grown significantly bigger since 1.4. We've got a lot more members than 1.4. So I think it's natural that we will end up kicking more people. But on top of that, I think we've seen more people joining as well when we reopened. Obviously, Basky and Princess, Matto, you've all been working super hard, so thank you very much, guys, for that. When we reopened applications, Basky, you were absolutely inundated with people wanting to join, so that was quite nice to see people waiting for that to reopen.
Shout out to all our new toties.
Yeah, we've had some really nice new members who are already quite active in the clan chat and Discord, so that's been really nice to see.
We're big fans.
It's always nice to see new members like get involved straight away. But yeah, I think the applications have sort of slowed down a little bit now, would you say? Agree,
Yeah.
it's sort of definitely more stable now.
Yeah, the first couple of days after reopening, we had about like 13, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
And then now it's like one every couple of days, maybe.
Yeah, so it's gone back down to being quite steady, but I think before 2.0 came out, they almost stopped at one point. So I think even now that it's like steady, it's more than what it was. So that's still nice. I think while we've got quite a lot of people here listening in, it would be a good opportunity to just clarify as well the different roles that each of us have taken on. Because if you're quite an old member, you will probably remember back in the day when it used to be me who did the majority of the member side work. That has changed quite dramatically now, with each of our did mostly everything, but that's changed quite dramatically now with our shiny new gen team. So just to obviously I'm very glossing over this just so I don't dwell on it too long, but to summarize really, Basky is on applications, so he is checking through the applications, making sure that he only accepts in the best of the best. Then that'll obviously go into a DM, because then once the application is accepted, that goes to the DM phase. That's then, at the moment, this will change eventually, but at the moment that's sitting with me then, so I will check the proof that comes in initially, and I'll be the one who actually does the welcome tweet, letting everyone know that this person is now in the clan. Once the person is in the clan, then it's up to Princess, who will be checking any further proof they send. So say they were a recruit rank before and they go up to corporal, they need to provide more screenshots for that maybe. That'll be Princess who looks into that, checks through the screenshots, applies the new rank, and also she's doing the super verified requests as well. So especially where super verified requests can get very sort of like 20 up to 20 screenshots. It can be quite a daunting task, but everyone's been managing really well. So, and then where obviously we are almost completely Twitter based, rank 1 Twitter clan. Matto is sitting on the DMs, making sure that they go to the correct person, which can be quite a tricky task, especially considering there are lots of different stages that each of our members can be at. So it's Matto's job to actually go into those DMs, figure out what stage that person is at, and then make sure that the relevant person, so me, Basky, or Princess, gets referred to that, and that enables us to then do whatever part we look after. I think it's been working really well. The people the roles that we've each taken. I think you guys would probably agree with that as well, now that it's been a couple of weeks. I think Princess, it's come at a sort of nice time where you've been at KBD, which is for you relatively AFK. So it's quite nice for you to have that on the side. Especially where obviously we're going to be our busiest after the 2.0 comes out. Yeah, it's going to be what you're going on to next. It's going to be harder for you to. I expect whatever you do is going to be harder for you to do something else on the side.
Yeah, cure us, Cad.
Nice.
Good luck.
Big pogs.
While we're on the subject of spreadsheets, approval, trusted, verified, and all that, I think there have definitely been some challenges with the new proof system, in that there are a lot of words to read in the DM, and if you open up the FAQ, there are even more words. So it can sort of be difficult to get your head around it to begin with, but our members who have already submitted proof, I think they've done quite a good job of getting things right. Yeah, there's a lot of reading, but eventually we'll get there, because I think as we go on, it's a new proof system, so naturally when you introduce anything new, can be difficult to get things off the ground and going. But once, the proof system isn't going to be updated again. When 2.1 comes out, we're going to be using the same proof system, likely 2.2 and etc. So once this one is done, once we're through it, the DM you get for 2.1 is going to be a lot shorter. There's going to be a lot less for people to do second time round. So, hopefully that just sorts itself out, really. Um, so I don't have a lot to raise this time round. Remember in our first town hall we had, there was quite a lot I had to go through. I'd even made like a list on my phone of things for us to talk about. But this time round I don't have a whole lot. There are a few things that people have sort of referred my way though, which I would like to talk about. First one that comes to mind is the discussion surrounding 200 mils. Not whether or not 200 mils should be included, because I think we've got to the point where you know, with that discussion sort of been had, and we are monitoring it as we said we would. But more so the points. So this was a discussion we had before 2.0 came out, as you guys will remember. One of the discussions we had were milestones. So, for example, just as an example, every 50 mil you get a certain amount of Totus points. Now that 200 mils have actually been out for a little while, and we've had the opportunity to see their effect on the rest of the clan, I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on it again. And maybe see if your opinion had changed, or if you're still thinking that it needs to stay the same way. If we go alphabetically, just so it's easier, so I don't have to point fingers at everyone. If I could just get your 3 opinions. Working.
I like how 200 mils are working in general. I think looking into the future, there does need to be the discussion of how many points it should have, because I think at the moment we chose a number which was purely there just to aid it going in. However, I think that might need to be revisited, maybe on the next spreadsheet. Make it either if we're making 200 mils more important or less important. That's something that we'll probably need feedback from these guys on. But with regards to milestones, I am very against them. We are not in the business of giving points for half completion. We give points when you complete a task, and you complete the task at 200 mil. And like, I don't think that there's any kind of reason not to, because again, the whole reason we put 200 mils in is because we didn't want to, well, because we wanted to be true to what completion was, and I think milestones would be taking a step in the wrong direction in that regard.
Yeah, I agree with Basky, because if you're gonna implement that, what's next? Like, if you're have the drop rate of a pet, should we reward points for that? Should we reward points for the lower cast force armor, all that kind of stuff? It's just, you gotta stay consistent with everything.
Just before Princess Kaza talk, Shen, we don't give points for the lower Castle Walls armor. Anything that's kind of got a armor with the rank above it, so the silver and the kind of red armor, doesn't give points. However, everything else which kind of stands on its own does.
Yeah, if an item is superseded by another item, then it doesn't get included. If it's on par with another item, then it does get included. So that's the reason why we ask for all of the recolored capes, for instance, and not just one. But it's why we don't ask, like Basky said, we don't ask for the lower tiered Castle Wars items.
I also want to point out quickly, for those that maybe weren't present when we've had this discussion before, 200 mil is objectively completionist. The problem that we had was deciding whether or not we should put that on our spreadsheet and kind of encourage our members to go for it. Whether it's completion or not isn't really up for discussion, because it kind of falls into every single criteria. Even if we shifted the criteria about to not include it, that would like not include an awful lot of other things too. So
it's just the fact that I did a tweet about this a little while ago, where it's basically just saying completionist is like the one thing that we are very lucky that it's so straightforward. Completionist has a very simple definition, and it's just if it's one off and you don't need to do it again, it's completionist. Whether we personally like the fact that it's completionist or not is, that's a different discussion. Lots people talking about lots on the tracker, people talking about max chompy count, whatever. Those are completionist, whether we like it or not, even if it's not obtainable in anybody's lifetime. Max raids counter, no one's ever going to get that, but it's still completionist. It's just the fact that we have to draw a line somewhere as to what we decide actually goes onto our spreadsheet and what doesn't. And the best way to do that is through criteria. So when we released the very first version of the spreadsheet, the one criteria we had against not including a completionist task was if it was an arbitrary counter. So as in you get the maximum amount and nothing happens. Now that's what we applied to 200 mil for a long time. Something we overlooked at one point is that 200 mil did change before fake XP drops even came out, by increasing your chance of getting a pet. So certain 200 mils we should have included on the spreadsheet a long time ago, but we didn't because it was an oversight. But now that no fake XP drops have come out, there's really no reason that we can give to, unless we arbitrarily add another one and say, oh, now we also don't want it if fake XP drops. So there's, I think saying that we don't include arbitrary counters is the one thing that stops a completionist task from getting on our main list, is the best we can do, really. Without sort of going into it and really refining it down to saying, oh, we don't like 200 mils, how do we get rid of them? Because that's not what we're about. Like Basky said, the list should be the most complete it can be. So that's the reason why it's on there.
I think we kind of deviated a bit from the order. Princess, do you have anything to say about 200 mils or how they've been applied, or milestones?
Milestones gay, lol.
That's true. We have seen people, very few, but we have seen people leave the clan over 200 mils and the premise of Raidscapes going on. Yeah, we've had 2 so far. But I mean, I think it's really our fault. I mean, these are things in the game. We're not Jagex, we can't control the content that's in the game, so I think that's I mean, obviously I respect if people feel that way, if they feel that that's not something they would like on a spreadsheet they want to go for, but I mean, from our point of view, we're just being as fair as we can possibly be.
Yeah, from my point of view, it's that if people decide to leave the clan for those reasons, then obviously I'm sad, because kind of everyone's decent people and I like having them around, but maybe it's just the fact that Totus isn't for them. It's just not how they want to kind of continue on playing, and then that's very respectable. That's their decision, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're doing something wrong, or that we need to like eagerly backtrack on kind of the decisions we made. Because and yeah, this is just my opinion, but I feel like adding 200 mils makes us a more true comp clan. It's just more true to what completionist is. So I like pursuing that sort of honesty with it.
I mean, the thing about what Princess is saying there about milestones, the interesting thing is the fact that I'm going on about how saying, obviously we don't control the content in the game. The one thing we do control is the way the spreadsheet works. So yes, we could introduce milestones if it made sense for us to, but I think that there is the point that it do we make an exception for 200 mil to add milestones in there? And what happens to other big tasks? It's a it can be a slippery slope depending on how it's approached.
I think I'd be more in favor for it for something like Raidscapes.
Yeah, because Runescape has 6 different capes or 5, whatever it is, but yeah, there's a way you can actually upgrade that. And you said it was all about the criteria, right? So I don't know. I kind of want to give points for 50 mil, but because it's kind of
it almost feels
not
like
really...
how have we come up with 50 mil or whatever number we come up with? Like what is our reason for choosing that as the milestone? And then it feels like we have to come up with a whole rationale to say, oh, we've chose 50 mil because it's, you know, divisible by 4.
And people already see 200 mils as arbitrary, and it took a lot of convincing people to kind of get 200 mils into their mind. And it seemed like when we were having that big discussion with it in the Discord, was people weren't necessarily against 200 mils in general. They just were confused as to why it's on the sheet now and not before, and what the reasoning behind it was. And I think we're opening up a can of worms, especially if we want to like defend choices we make in the future, because I think the second we add milestones, we're kind of saying, oh, well, we'll do it for some stuff, but then not for others. And then it's like, oh, why did we do it for this stuff? So kind of like what you were saying earlier, it kind of, it makes it harder to defend. And it also means that we as generals can be more tyrannical with the spreadsheet than maybe we should be, because we're not following our own rules.
So while we're on this subject, I want to bring up what I think someone did bring it up before we started this town hall, but also Magic brought it up earlier today. We do have a milestone, that max cape. 200 mil all does supersede max cape. So if we're being completely strict by our rules, we should remove max cape from our spreadsheet. Now, given the way that 200 mil was put on the sheet, obviously it wasn't a very, if you're looking at it at a sort of who's the most vocal, it wasn't a popular decision. So we did leave 99s in there, sort of arbitrarily. So there isn't a big reason or justification how I can say why we left max cape on there, other than the fact that you get a max cape at 99 all. So I think there are 2 ways we can approach this, because it needs to be fixed, basically. Going into 2.1, we need to go one way or the other. If we go the way of saying we need to be extremely strict and not add any more guidelines, then we need to get rid of the max cape. If we're going to go the other way and say that actually we have made endgame tasks at the bottom of the sheet, and we've specifically separated them off from the rest of the sheet, pets and 200 mils have their own category. You know, they're still completionists, obviously, but we have decided to separate them off at the bottom of the sheet because they take a considerable amount of time longer than the rest of them. So the other way that we could go is, instead of saying 200 mils supersede max cape, so we need to remove max cape, we could actually just go and say, well, we just don't let endgame tasks affect any other task. So if we say that, if we say endgame tasks are completely separate from the rest of the sheet, then it means that 200 mils can coexist with max cape, and it also means that we would have to change the way that pets work, so pets wouldn't supersede anything else. For example, at the moment, Jalnibrek supersedes completing the Inferno once. So if we were to make this change, completing the Inferno once as a completionist task rather than a collectionist task for getting cape would be added to the sheet. I can't think of any more off the top of my head right now, but that's the sort of thing that would happen. What's your guys' opinions on that? We'll go alphabetically again.
I'm not really against it, because we did float around the idea of putting those endgame tasks onto a separate tab or a separate area itself, and I think that they are big endgame tasks, and I almost wouldn't mind treating them differently from everything else, because we kind of already do, at least as players. Yeah. And actually, the more I think about it, and if we're going down that route, and you're right, like, we have already made exceptions for Max Cape, and I like that we made the exception for Max Cape, because maxing is a big part of Completionist.
Exactly.
Like, I'm starting now to think maybe milestones aren't such a bad idea.
It's like when we were talking about this ages ago, you know, before 2.0 came out, and Princess came up with that nice idea of separating, like you were saying, separating it onto a separate tab. You see, that was a nice idea, but it just started to make things too complicated. But doing it this way sort of takes that complication out, because we're keeping it on the same sheet. So for the member reading it, they see it all normally, you know, they just see it as one big task list. There's no two tabs for them to switch between. But we've already taken that extra initiative to add in what that would supersede. So yeah, it's just whether or not we want it. Matto?
I'm still not a fan of milestones. Just.
Do you see it as milestones as well then?
What do you mean?
Well, Max Cape.
Well,
Do you see
yeah.
it as a milestone of 200 mil.
But I don't really see it as a milestone. I see it as an arbitrary thing because of 200 mil being an unrealistic goal for basically everyone. But it is Completionist to get 200 mil, but Max isn't. But a lot of people are maxed, and I would like to see points rewarded for that still, and quite handsome as well, because it's still 2,000 hours. But milestones, 50 mil, 100 mil, 150 mil, you don't unlock anything there, really.
Well, Princess did point out that every experience point you get is technically Completionist, because it cannot be removed or decreased. So something I've just thought of is that I think by adding the milestones would make people's Completionist hours way more accurate, because when you get a 200 mil, you're adding on hundreds of hours straight away just on that one task. And it's a little thing, like it's a quality of life thing, but it would definitely help with kind of judging how people's Completionist hours people have.
God damn it.
Nino.
What if we had... Okay, I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but just a thought that's randomly popped in my head. There is a CML API, so we could technically link up the spreadsheet with CML to automatically tick off 99s, automatically tick off 200 mils, and also add up your hours. So if you're at like 100 mil in a skill, it could work out how many hours you've got from that skill and add it onto your CHP. I mean, Totus hours.
Wait, then hypothetically, could you say, so we've already established that every experience you get on the way to 200 mil is Completionist. Could we say give you partial points, like a 1 point for every so many experience?
Oh god, 1 point. It's not going to be sick.
No, but like by the time you get 170 mil, you've got however many percentage of your 200 mil points.
Yeah, because I have a personal spreadsheet that does that. It automatically calculates how many hours I need, and I can select XP, and it's very easy to implement that. But
it's like
as
milestones.
Yeah, but it could just divide everything, so people wouldn't have to prove anything for 99s, because it's just imported from the high scores, and your points would go up automatically as you gain XP. I think that would be the best way to implement it. And instead of doing 50, 100, because then everyone would still go for 50 mil, and 50 mil is still a long time.
You know your spreadsheet that you were saying about Matto, is that linked up to CML then?
No, but you could implement your own XP rates.
So it's an interesting idea. The main thing that pops into mind as being a negative to that is name changes. In that people would have to update their name every time, or else a bunch of their sheets going to get unticked. And they like lose loads of points
Yeah,
every
but
time they change their name.
you can wizard something in I don't know, in our database and have it like.
And CML automatically tracks name changes.
It does, but if someone who doesn't automatically get updated, say they've got quite a low EHP rank, and they update their name, that's not going to get updated until we do it.
Well, isn't it
So
on
they can
them?
keep getting... It is, but then where... I don't know. It's just the fact that... Sorry, go on.
If Basky communicates with me and I do the name changes every time before he does the member high scores, I don't think there should be an issue.
I mean, I do the high scores fairly regularly, like weekends, so as long as I communicate with Matto.
And I do them every weekend as well.
First, and then high scores straight after.
Yeah, that's good, right? Doesn't matter.
Like name changes Saturday, Sunday high scores.
I mean, there's like 5 or 6 people that change their names, even less every week. Yeah.
We'll have to place that as something to look at, because if it's possible, it could be something to explore.
Is it in everyone's favor by doing it like that? Just importing your XP onto the sheet, having the sheet calculate your points for the tuner mill?
I mean, yeah. If we're talking about if we get rid of the idea of milestones just for a moment, and we say we automatically tick off 99s and 200 mils depending on whether or not you've got it, then that's just a plus anyway, because that just means that it's something you don't have to worry about. But then if you're looking at the main question is about whether or not how we want to use that data, really.
Should we move on, but save this kind of discussion for maybe another time?
Yeah, I think what we'll do, I'll place that on some of the ideas for 2.1. If it's something that I can do, maybe I'll put a draft together and then we can compare it against a draft without and just see how we feel at the time and maybe discuss it in another town hall or something.
Yeah, and you can contact me with my spreadsheet. I can show you how it sticks together and see if you can implement it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see.
So just in a summary, we're kind of more for the idea of giving points for each experience rather than for these kind of milestones of 50 mil, 100 mil, 150 mil.
Yeah, I think so. If we're going to do milestones, it has to be as fine as possible.
Yeah, I really like that idea, and I think it would motivate a lot of people who they don't think to themselves, oh, I'm never getting 200 mil all, but they may think, oh, I'm going to do like a bit of skilling, or I want to be rewarded for doing a lot of skilling, because it is technically completionist.
Yeah, and then they're not forced to go up to some number we've made up, like 50 mil or something like that, and just get what they want. Yeah,
exactly. It'll be a more like smooth point distribution too, rather than just big chunks.
I guess going dry on skilling pads isn't so bad after all.
Think of the Totus points.
And it seems like these guys like it too. I mean, I haven't seen too much. It just feels like a nice middle ground between kind of us sort of like very solidly saying 200 mils on the sheet, boom, and then kind of people being like, oh no, I'm never going to do 200 mils.
Yeah, it would be nice to find some kind of middle ground with that.
Fucking slushy.
God.
Okay. Bear with me one moment. There was another question someone had raised before the meeting that I just want to check. Oh, yes. So Sudri, before the meeting, before the town hall, raised the point about the Calphite Queen head. So we don't
Oh yeah.
offer points for the Calphite Queen head at the moment. The reason for that is because previously we had accepted mounted versions of the KQ head. Now, if we're going to be strict and go by our criteria, we shouldn't accept mounted ones, because once it's mounted, you can't get it back. I mean, once I started thinking about when I first thought about the fact that we're accepting mounted heads, I thought Jagex might eventually change it so that we're allowed to sort of get that mounted head back. And someone, I can't remember who, but someone tweeted Modash with that idea as well. I think it was Pate Dan, owner of CML, tweeted him about that, and Ash seemed quite interested in that. So I thought, oh, okay, so they might actually do it. But then nothing sort of came of that. So I think we need to start thinking now about whether we want to change that. So if we were to change it, what we would do is we would say, well, one of the things we could do is say, okay, we're not accepting mounted heads anymore because you can't get them back. If you stuff them, you can unstuff them. If you put them in a Slayer helm, you can take them out of that Slayer helm. But once you mount them, it's gone. So if we were to no longer accept mounted trophies, what that would mean is someone could potentially get the points for a trophy. They want to hang it in their house, they hang it in their house, they lose the points. Also, Calphite Queen head would then start awarding points, because essentially the one from your diary wouldn't count anymore. You'd need to go and grab another one. What are your guys' opinions on that, please?
Yes.
Yeah, just make them get another one. It's not a big deal. And yeah, I'd rather that than allow a mounted head. Yeah, I just make them get another one for the points.
Okay, I also agree with that. I was kind of hoping you guys would say yes. So I think 2.1 will make that change then.
Yeah.
No longer accept mounted heads.
Good job, Sudri.
Or I
Well done,
guess
Sudri.
you could put it on
Yeah.
2.2.
Clappers in the chat, please.
Yeah, but it doesn't
that
give
would
any
also
points
mean-
right now, does it?
It doesn't, but it would mean in 2.1 we would have to untick everyone's Calphite Queen head, because we have no way of telling if they've actually got one if they mounted it. I think we'd also have to tell people in some manner that we're no longer accepting mounted ones.
Yeah.
I suppose actually what we would have to do, we would have to untick all of them. We would have to untick all of the trophies on everyone's spreadsheet, because essentially someone could have made a room for all of them and hung them all up. And then none of those would be accepted anymore.
Yikes.
It's a shame, but I mean, that's just the way that the game works at the moment. If they change
Yes,
it in
it is
the future
way-
to give it back, then we could always change it again. But I don't know, if we're all in favour of doing that, then that's just something we would have to do.
Yeah, if someone's made a separate room for every single stuffed head, then I do not want to reward them in any way.
Well, most people have the Slayer helmets anyway, because
Yeah, I mean, from
the
back in 1.4 when we were accepting screenshots, onto the spreadsheet for like loads of tasks, I think most people, when they sent that proof in for the trophies, they would either have everything in their inventory, or they would have everything minus the Calphite Queen head. That would be the only thing that's mounted. So I think for most people, it's not going to be a big deal. And I think if you've killed, I mean, if you're going to go for the Calphite Queen pet, most people are going to get more than one head along the way as well. So that shouldn't upset too many people.
Yeah, make the
Unless you
change.
get really lucky.
yeah. So the only thing that's gonna change is people are gonna have to tick every taxidermy again.
Yeah, I'll just have to
And-
untick it, and then that'll be one of the things we
Yeah,
say
every
is
s-
unticks for everyone.
Yeah, and you're gonna reward points to the KQ head or the Green Slayer helmet.
Yes.
Okay.
Something that's just crossed my mind while we're talking about getting lucky on kill counts. This happened a little while ago now, but I just thought I'd bring it up here just so all of us are on the same page. I expect you guys will probably remember this actually. Someone got the, what was it? Did they get the gargoyle pet before 5 kill count?
Yeah, they got the key on first kill count and the pet on the first gargoyle.
Yeah.
So it counted as 2.
And so they said, can I tick off the 5 kill count one because I don't want to kill anymore? And obviously the answer to that was no, because you still have to get 5. It's still completionist. I think there is one. The other one would be Vorkath. So if someone got 4 key before 50 kill count, they still have to get 50 kills.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone asks about that's the answer. Yes, you do have to go do it.
Right on.
Oh, also another one is people who have, what's it called? The little octopus.
Kraken.
Yeah, people who have
Yep.
Kraken at 0 kill count, they have to get 1 kill count to put
I still have that. It sucks.
So those are the 3 big things I think. I'm probably missing. I've probably missed one, but those are the big 3 that I can think of right now. So if anyone asks, do they have to do that? Just tell them yes.
Righto.
So what else is there? So the application thread has been updated with v2.0 tasks. So if anyone asks to look at a spreadsheet, this is obviously I know you gens know this, but mainly towards everyone else. If anyone asks you to see your spreadsheet, or they want to see a copy of the sheet, or they ask for anything like that, just direct them straight to the application thread, because the full task list is there for everybody to see, regardless of whether or not you're in Totus. It is against our rules to make copies of the sheet, so just chuck them towards the application thread and they can see everything they need to see there. Batsky sent me through the list of members earlier today, so that's been put on the application thread too. It says 291, but we have had a few people leave since the reminder. I think there's 5 people in total want to leave after that reminder, so it's more closer to 286, but that's the highest it's ever been. But yeah, that updated list is on the application thread now.
Sorry, while we're on that topic,
Yeah.
something I wanted to bring up was how we felt about, so at the moment in the ranks channel, we kind of put every rank change apart from people leaving. I was wondering whether you'd be open to maybe when people leave putting a quick, this person has left, and then maybe a short reason if they give one.
Yeah, it is something I've thought about, because I know at the moment, for those of you who don't know how it works, when someone leaves the clan, it gets broadcasted to the generals, but it doesn't, like Aspi said, doesn't get put in ranks. I suppose it really boils down to the reason why we even have a ranks channel in the first place. I suppose we've got one because we like to keep people updated on what's going on rank-wise. So from that point of view, it would make sense to put removals in there.
And also, it's like when Thanks left, we had quite a few questions about it, and we kind of could have like
if he'd gone.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of thing kind of sensationalizes it a little bit. And obviously he got bothered by people asking, we got bothered by people asking.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, I'm happy to start posting those in there, unless anyone's got a big reason for me not to. Matto, Princess, either of you against that, or are you both sort of fine? Oh, Princess already said. Matto, have you got anything that you would, any reason why you wouldn't want us to do that?
I don't know if the people that leave Totus really want that to be broadcast, but
I suppose
because some people leave for personal reasons.
yeah, good point.
Would that be more the case of just not putting a reason then?
Yeah, or maybe we could just not put a reason for anyone. We just say this person has left.
Yeah, and
then
maybe
maybe broadcast the generals the reason.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Would you be happy with that?
I'd be fine with that personally.
Okay.
I just think it's like, I don't know, it's just not very transparent, hiding hiding when people leave the
Sorry.
clan. I think people have a kind of a right to know rather than that kind of flying under
Yeah.
the radar a bit.
Yeah, and like you say, it avoids the questions as well. So I think we can do that.
Cool.
I mean, obviously we can use our own judgment if there's like a really big reason why we might not want to put someone, might not want to broadcast it out. But other than that, I'm quite happy to start putting those in there just to be consistent with everything else we're doing.
Cool.
Transparency.
Oh, by the way, I just realised. Actually, no, never mind. I was going to say,
Oh no, you've got to say now.
our last meeting, we said we wanted someone taking minutes, but then I realised I'm literally recording this entire thing, so
Oh yeah,
it's fine. Ali Junior said lack of reason might stir up gossip. Yeah, I think if we're gonna do it, we should be consistent and not give a reason ever, because then when people see one without a reason, when usually we give them,
yeah, they'll be like, oh, ooh, what's happened with that one?
yeah, people might jump to conclusions or assume the worst, or yeah, and in those times, those are the times where we don't want people like poking around about it. So yeah, maybe no reason at all ever. Oh, and also about buying Infernals. I saw recently that another 69 people got banned.
Yeah, they're gonna be banned this Thursday, I think.
This Thursday.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted to make it clear that buying an Infernal Cape is an instant kick from the clan.
Yep.
0 tolerance. And wait, so they are going to get banned? Did you say, or have they already been?
I think so. It was a swing tweet. I don't know if that's accurate, but
For instance,
So
why are they doing it in batches? Can't they just kick them as they find out?
oh, who knows? I guess this is like more tweet worthy. They can like make big.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice if they named and shamed them.
It would be, but I take it we're gonna
Easier for us.
do the same things we did last time and kind of do a bit of a sweep, see if anyone in the clan has bought one.
Yeah, I think the PVM clans will probably get together again, I expect. And if any slip through the nets, what did we do last time? I think we.
If you don't mind me saying, you gave me a list of everyone in the clan that had an Infernal Cape.
Oh yeah. That's not. I just remembered.
Okay.
Let's not say it.
Let's just say, like we checked it out. We stayed on top of
You
it.
went through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
I guess everyone from Oblivion is gonna get auto approved.
Auto approved.
Yeah, because don't you need an Infernal Cape to join that?
I don't know when the cutoff is.
It's when Raids 2 comes out, I think.
June 5th.
Okay, so I think another thing to mention here is that on the other end of the scale, actually no, I'm not going to bring that up here. Right, so moving on, Basky is doing the high scores for us at the moment, and he has been explaining in announcements. If you're not listed on the high scores, then that is because you haven't got trusted or verified rank. So if you're looking on there and thinking, oh, why am I not listed here? It's because you haven't DM'd us yet. And I think looking through the list of people who are in the listening in right now, I think most of you have. I think I can be quite safe in saying that. So it probably doesn't apply to many of you anyway.
Some people will be watching the recording.
Yeah, good point. So you listening right now, if you're not on the high scores, check your DMs. You've got a few from Totus. You must have like 3 or 4 now.
It sucks when you slide into DMs and get aired.
Being left on read. Yeah, and on the other side, we've got lots of super verified, which is very, very nice. I'm very pleased with the amount of people who have gone out of their way to to apply for super verified, especially
Is it
where
30 plus now?
it's not- must be.
You don't have the
Princess
numbers?
would be that- I could get them.
Embarrassing.
Let me get a number then.
Charles, super verified is for the true comp people that want to complete everything.
35 at the moment, so 35 people have gone out of their way to obtain super verified. So I think that's really nice, considering the fact that no one has to get super verified, but that many people already, like we're not even at the deadline yet, and that many people have gone out of their way. So if you're not super verified yet and you would like to go for it, it does look very good. You get a nice shiny badge at the
Super
top
shiny.
of your spreadsheet. And one thing that I want to say about verified and super verified at the moment, you do get valor for being verified, and you do get valor for being super verified, regardless of whether you've received a voucher or not. So that hasn't actually been applied yet. So if you have verified status or super verified status, it hasn't added onto your valor yet, but it will do, and you'll get a DM about that when it has been.
Oh, sorry. While we're talking about Valor, we are also now tracking referrals. So if you refer someone to the clan and they
Yes.
give your name in the application, then you will be getting Valor for that. I am referring everyone to ARP that I see that happens
had-
with.
2 so far, haven't we? I think.
Yes.
So that's nice. That's already started to work. It's very, very good seeing people refer. And I mean, the only regret I have is that we didn't think of that sooner, because I know a lot of the members who are in Totus have been referred, so it's a little bit of a shame that it came in that late, but I mean, at least it's in there now, so we can cover the rest of any future members. And I just realised, I know Valor doesn't get that much publicity, especially recently where we haven't done a prize draw for quite a few months. That's mainly come down to the fact that the only way you could get Valor before was through quizzes, but obviously that has now changed. You can get Valor through a multitude of different things. You can get Valor for referring people to Totus, joining the subreddit, joining Discord, obtaining verified status, obtaining super verified status, and when the quizzes start up again, participating in quizzes. So there are quite a few different ways to obtain Valor now, and I would like to restart the Valor prize draws starting from next month. So after we kick everyone out, we'll do the prize draw after that, and then it will go back to being its regular monthly thing. But yeah, back to the verified and super verified. You will get a DM once your super verified and verified Valor has been applied. The way it's going to work is that you will get Valor based on what current rank you are. So if we use verified as an example, if you're a friend rank, you're going to get 5 Valor for being verified. If you're a recruit rank, you're going to get 10 Valor, and every rank you gain after that, you keep gaining 5 per rank. The reason that it's per rank is because if you don't have to be verified, for example, if you've been vouched, and you can get off, just by being trusted, it gives you an incentive to go back up to being verified. And it's same for super verified. It works per rank, so it gives you that incentive to keep proving, and you get more points, more Valor for becoming super verified. I do have the amount written down somewhere. I think it's 20 per rank, but I don't remember that off the top of my head. Let me see if there's anything else.
Are we, now that we've calmed down a little bit after 2.1,
Yes.
our quiz is going to see a return?
They 100% are.
Yep, pogs, definite pogs.
The way that I want to do it is, well, initially, I stopped doing them, and then I said when it comes back, it's going to be under a new format. It is going to be under a new format, but it's going to be rotations now. There's going to be 4 different formats that we go through, and the format is going to change each time. So one of the formats I'd like to do is the one that we have been using. The 1 round, then the 2nd round. Another one I'd like to do is the format that we used when we first started doing quizzes, which was literally just a 30 question barrage, you know, one after the other, no 2-round business. It's literally whoever can answer the most. And there are 2 more as well. I've got them written down somewhere because I've been typing them out on the bus to work. So those will make a return better than ever, but they'll still be called Grandmasters. No new name this time around.
That was all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Let me just see if there's anything else to bring up.
If you're stuck for questions, Thykos asked earlier what sort of points we might expect to see for these Raise 2 capes. I know that's... I mean, I brought it up mainly because I imagine the answer will be we don't know yet, but...
Yeah, it's hard to say early on, and points aren't really something we tend to discuss publicly, but it's going to be... Once they're out, we'll put them on the sheet, and obviously we'll readjust everything based on that. It's like when we had the 200 mil ore, you know, we didn't know how that was going to affect everything else. It was only really until we put that on that we could decide an appropriate value and change everything else.
And also, just we've kind of made this point before, but just because it takes a lot of hours, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be monster points. Usually with those big hour tasks, we tend to give them fewer points than they might necessarily have based on time, just because they're kind of end game things that we're not really expecting people to do.
What we could do is, we haven't discussed this before, but is add them to the end game tasks, and as we talked about doing gradual points for 200 mils, I think it would be nice to have the 5 capes in there at the bottom with the 200 mils and pets.
Yeah, maybe, because we're going to have Raids 2 capes, and yeah, Hugo, we're going to have Challenge Mode capes too, so it's going to be a similar deal. I wouldn't be against giving points for each cape.
Is that end game? Are they in? Would we consider them end game? How long are they? How long does it take?
Challenge raids would take about 1,200 hours.
Raids 1, 1,000 hours.
No,
Probably
more,
a bit,
definitely more.
Probably a bit
1,200.
more, seeing as people aren't really getting half-an-hour averages.
So what do we have? What's our biggest non-end game task at the moment? Is it Castle Wars?
Max cape?
Mutagens?
Oh yeah, Maxcape it would be, wouldn't it?
I'd say Masscape's a bit special though.
Yeah, Maxcape is 1.5 hours, 1.57, 1.57 thousand. Well,
Yeah, and
yeah,
Cats Wars is like
260 for mutagen. Where is Castle Wars? Can't even find it now.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter, but-
379 for Castle Wars.
Either way, all I'm saying is that those capes definitely seem to be different, bigger than a lot of our other. Whether we're calling it end game task or not, I do think we should treat it slightly differently, and give points for each individual cape.
Yeah, because there are 5 capes you can achieve. It's not like, yeah, it's basically Castle Wars, red, white, and gold. But I think this is a different scenario.
I mean, if they fit our collectionist criteria, we could just include all of them anyway.
Yeah, well, it's collectionist then, I guess, for the other 4.
Wait, so I thought
Oh, are they?
once you get the better upgrade, your old one gets taken away, or am I mistaken?
So they're free. If they're freely reclaimable, then it does break our collectionist rules.
But you'd still unlock it at that KC.
Yeah, because what I was thinking is we
Somewhat.
could have a comp task for unlocking the highest one, but then collections tasks we could actually get the capes as like a workaround. But if they might not fit our criteria, but maybe we can just have a look at the criteria
Yeah, well, if we add them to end game tasks and have 5 rows of every cape or challenge mode and theater of blood, it doesn't really cluster the spreadsheet, and it's rewarding for everyone to gradually gain points as we do with 200 mils.
Yeah. Do you know when Raids 2 is out?
7th.
4 days.
Oh. So presumably we'll find out relatively soon as well how long people are expecting the Raids 2 capes to take, right?
Yeah, in a week or something.
Because I'm thinking, what I'm thinking is if they're similar enough to get lumped together in one task, then that's going to be a heck of a lot of hours. And probably quite.
We shouldn't put them together. They're two completely different bits of content.
Are they?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's challenge mode, raids 1, and raids 2 cape. Like, it's completely different. The only similarity is that you get the capes.
Well, now you're gonna mess with the 80 tasks, dude.
No, we found a way around that. There's tons of stuff we can merge.
Okay.
But what I was getting at is if they're separate tasks and we end up adding them to endgame tasks, that means we'd be adding 2 more to endgame tasks.
I mean, maybe we don't call it endgame.
Maybe
Maybe we just call it something else. I mean, it doesn't have to be endgame. Just tasks we treat a little bit specially.
We'll see. We'll see what happens when they come out. But we'll be able to, because we're only speculating at the moment. We have no idea how long they're going to take or anything like that. So we'll wait to see when they come out, and then we can discuss it again, I think.
I think it's fair to say, as Princess says, that it's endgame. Because most people will probably go for pets and all that before they go for the capes. I think. Unreasonably long hour tasks, I like that. To kind of get the humor into it.
Chuck Castle was in there.
So are we kind of happy with maybe offering that?
Yeah, I think that's something we should definitely consider. Sorry, you meant separating them up into mini tasks?
Yeah, giving points for each cape completion. Obviously, more points as you get the better ones.
Yeah, I think that's something we can. I mean, that it almost feels like that's not a problem. It more feels like it's a problem with the other tasks more than that it's a problem with this task. You know, if there are other things that we can apply that to, then why not?
Yeah.
I don't think there is anything else, but if there are other things, then you know, it almost feels like we could change the sheet for that reason, because it is a nice idea.
Cool. Yeah, we'll definitely have a think about it.
Arp, is it okay if we let the people type in the chat how many points each cape should give, so we kind of get an idea what everyone thinks?
Oh,
I don't know about that.
Well, they're already going.
Okay, so while they're typing now, I do have one last thing to talk about, which someone reminded me earlier. Can't remember who. Someone in Townhall. Hashtag cats and hashtag food.
No.
How are we approaching this?
No.
Oh, diplomatic.
No.
I don't, because I honestly don't know. I wouldn't mind having them, but at the same time.
Yeah, hashtag cats was a huge success.
No, it wasn't. You and Matt destroyed that channel.
I was posting cats.
You were posting anime cats, and Matt was posting skeleton cats.
Yeah, and you were deleting them, which I thought was a huge abuse of power.
I was fully concentrated on that. I think I even logged out of RuneScape to delete your 2 posts.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna do, all right, so
I'm gonna ruin whatever thread's coming in that's off topic, just so you know.
Even though I post food, I'm not a fan of segregating discussions like that. Like,
yeah, that's the big negative.
And let's be honest, like, I'm probably, me and Zoidberg are like the only 2 people that kind of semi-regularly post food pictures. I don't see enough demand for it.
Having its own channel, we could go every time we feel hungry. We just go there and see yours and Zoid's food.
Well, what about just an off topic, and that's it?
But
one off topic.
See,
That's
I'm not a
definitely-
fan of
Another
like
text-
off.
Yeah, because I feel like Totus at the moment, the hashtag Totus, I mean, encompasses all the RuneScape talk and the off-topic talk, and separating them would take away from it a little bit. I like the sort of fast-paced movement there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
but most people do, don't they?
I mean, we are getting the point. Like Princess said, they don't like having to scroll through the food posts.
They don't like.
But then other people are saying that that's kind of what they want to see.
It's the highlight of my day.
I'm more of a fan of keeping the Totus channel not strictly RuneScape related.
Yeah.
Like, because I think the second you have an off topic, you're splitting the discussions. Suddenly we're a haven for people that have burnt out and don't play the game anymore, but still want to talk about, like, at the end of the day, we're still a RuneScape clan. And if you have like a hashtag other games channel, suddenly
Right.
we're like this social, not really RuneScape, group of friend kind of deal, which I just don't think that's our purpose. I think there's so many other Discords that offer that we don't really need to.
If we limit it though, rather than being vague saying off topic, if we limit it to say, this it in this channel you can only post cats. If you post anything else that isn't a cat, that is gone. So I mean, does it not work the same way as our other channels, if we look at it that way?
But like, just post the animals in the Totus chat, or go on Tumblr if you want to see animals, or follow Princess on Twitter. Like, it's that easy, guys.
Yeah.
And I think like
Scroll through
we're
Princess.
also going to have to moderate it. Like, that's just another thing that
That's
we're going
your
to have to
job,
do. Oh, you're giving me the job of moderating cats after what happened last time. Yikes.
Oh god, yeah, never mind then. Okay, right.
Nice microphone in the Twitter handle, Princess. Oh yeah, that's working.
That's even better.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay, so
You got
what we
this.
said? We said no to cats and food?
No. Yes.
Wait, yes or no?
It's a confusing question, dude. You try to trick me here.
Okay, let me post something in Town Hall, and then you can post a reaction to it. How about that?
No, just ask. Do a straw poll if you're going to do that.
$73.
Just want to remind everyone that this is not a democracy.
Yeah, this doesn't mean anything. It's still interesting to see though.
Okay, I'm removing all the yeses.
Okay, right, so it's quite clearly no. So since you guys don't want cats and food, we will move on from this discussion.
See, no.
That's a shame, because I thought it'd be really nice, but since you guys don't want it, right.
No one wants. There's no yes.
We're really accepting as to what we let into the Totus channel. We're not like tyrannical about it. We're not deleting people's off-topic posts. So I think feel free to have those discussions, but I
On a
don't want
serious-
to cater to it.
Yeah, on a serious note, if you want to post pictures of cute cats or pictures of what you're eating, please feel free to do that in hashtag Totus, because it's allowed. Post what you want as long as it's safe for work and doesn't contain any swear words, unless you censor them with an asterisk. Yes.
Yeah, from now on we will be deleting all swear words.
Yeah.
Not the whole post, but like just the swear word.
We'll copy and paste your post without the swear word, and then delete your main post.
Should we open the floor to questions up?
I think we should, Basky. Does
Oh
anyone have
my
any
God.
questions that we would like to ask our panel of generals? Oh, don't all type at once.
Wait, Loch Ness, you had a question for Arp, didn't you, earlier? If you're still here.
Why can't we swear?
You did have a question.
What's your question, Loch Ness?
Charles has a question. Why can't we swear?
You can swear, but just we won't like it.
Well,
What's
you
your
won't like it.
profanity?
Yeah, I won't like it. It's tacky. How am I? I'm alright. You alright?
Does anybody have any serious questions?
What does
Doesn't look
tacky mean?
The dictionary.
That's rude. What does tacky mean, Arp?
Tacky is when something's like a little bit sticky, right? It's a bit tacky.
No.
Like blue tack. Are we getting Asian time friendly events? We don't have a lot of Euro time friendly events at the minute, but
What would we have to do? Would we need to do them later or earlier in the day? I think it's earlier, isn't it? To accommodate for that. For like the Australians and the Asian countries.
we could definitely mix up the timing so it's not like the same time. Like the quiz isn't the same time every time.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do like some earlier in the day if it meant some people who couldn't usually participate could. Just to, you know, even if it is like a one-off every now and then, just so everyone's included.
Alright, so next question. Did anyone's opinion on their fruit change since the last town hall, and how do you eat kiwis? Personally, I slice it in half and I spoon it out.
No, I eat kiwis by literally eating it like an apple. Like grab it, bite in, the skin and everything.
What?
Savage.
That's not skin, that's fur, dude.
No,
Kiwi.
honestly, no. Hear me out, hear me out. It really works well. You get a bit of chewy and with the soft and sweet, a little bit of bitter in there. It really
The skin's the
works.
best
Nice
part for you as
balance.
well.
Yeah, lots of vitamins in there, a lot of fiber.
Okay,
Chop off the ends though.
I'm bringing one. I want to watch you eat that. That's gross, dude.
How's that gross?
I'll eat it in
I do
one,
think
baby.
that'll be at work.
I mean, I think the only people that don't like it are the ones that haven't tried it before. And no, Ali, I don't like munching my bananas with the skin. I carefully peel it back.
Basky, do you eat it whole?
Oh, kiwi?
Yeah.
I'm sure I could, but usually I like take bites.
Okay. How do you eat
Yeah,
eggs?
Esco, my
boiled
guy.
eggs?
Would like hard boiled.
Yeah.
You crack them to get the shell off, and then you peel the shell off, and then depends what I'm doing with it, really.
Some people spoon eggs.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could be friends with those people.
I get the people who peel apples. You eat the whole thing.
Oh no, the thing is though, Arp, is that some people are allergic to apple skin. Like I'm allergic to
Really?
apple skin. Yeah, it's got the same protein in it that like peanuts do apparently. And I'm not a doctor. I may be chatting out my ass, but I have a little allergic reaction, so I eat them without the skin. Oh yeah, Jens, big spoon or little spoon?
Big.
Oh, Aussies. Big spoon or little spoon? Big spoon.
One serious topic, RuneFest. Basky Mata and I have now booked our tickets. If you saw the tweet and announcement we did earlier in this week or last week, I can't remember. But Basky Mata and I are definitely going to RuneFest. So if any of you are also going to RuneFest, let us know, because we will open a Discord channel nearer the time so that all of us can talk and discuss about meeting up. Be fun to meet you guys there, so I hope you do. You know, like if you're
Yes,
going,
Charles.
either DM Totus or just DM one of us privately. Doesn't matter who, because it will all come back to us anyway.
I mean, I think there's enough people that we can open it, but then if you want to send us messages, then we'll add you to it, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Because we'd probably only want to give access to people that are actually going, just for like, I don't know, personal information being shared and stuff.
what I was thinking is doing like 2 channels. Do one for people who are saying, "Oh, I might go, I might not go," and then do another channel for people who are definitely going. Like after they provided proof that they bought it.
Oh, so they have to provide proof for that as well? That's great.
Princess can deal with that.
Runefest verified.
Do we get Valor for that as well if we go to Runefest?
Oh yeah. Wait, or is that real world trading?
Not really, because it's Totus, so it doesn't matter.
You get a bond.
You get you get Valor for going to Runefest and slapping Alp's bald head.
If you're super verified, we'll buy your ticket.
No. You're not we. Clip that.
Charles, Arp is going incognito to Runefest.
Yeah, I won't be telling everybody who I am when I go there.
Just find me or Basky. He's probably hanging on our legs somewhere.
And you'll be able to see Mato from across the room because he's like 7 foot tall.
Right. Okay. I think that's it then. No one else is submitting questions. Should we call that it?
Will there be Runefest pictures? Yeah, I'm gonna leak ARP.
No, I will not be in any pictures.
We'll get Arp to turn around for the pictures, but there will be pictures.
No,
Just
if you
a
want to
chin.
see what I look like, you need to go there. I won't be in pictures. Wear a cosplay.
Yeah, Arp, what cosplay are you gonna go as? Are you gonna go as Felix?
Right, I think I'm gonna end. We think we're gonna end the town hall here on that note. Thank you guys for listening in. Hope you found it interesting. And remember, we will be doing a town hall on the first Sunday of every single month. So you already know the date for the next one.
Yeah.
And it will most likely be at 7 PM BST.
Yeah, when we can, we'll do it at 7 PM BST. It will only be when like one of us isn't available that we'll have to change the time. But obviously, we'll let you know in announcements, and we'll tweet out as well. So the first, that's the same day we kick everyone out.
Yeah.
So there might be
Everyone.
a smaller turnout.
Yeah, you're all going.
See ya.
See ya, everyone.
Actually, no, these guys that are in the chat now are all loyal toties that have got
Yeah,
verified,
most
so...
of them have done it. Okay, right, so we'll see you again next month then. If you, just a note actually, because I didn't say this last time, if you think of something in the meantime that you want us to raise in Town Hall, let us know, and we will put it on our agenda to raise next time.
Oh,
Send us a DM.
sorry, really quick, but Totus Podcast Volume 1, the first one we were ever doing, soon, right? Up? Is that...
Very soon.
So...
We wanted to do it after the release of the spreadsheet, didn't we? So
Yeah. So likewise, if you want to be a guest on that, or if you have questions, please DM one of us.
we'll open like an official thing at some point, but in the meantime, just let us know. If you're interested in being on the podcast, you can let us know. Where we obviously don't do podcasts very often, we can't guarantee that you'll get on, but let us know if you are interested, and we'll definitely consider.
Yeah, our first ever one. That'd be exciting.
Excited. Bye everyone.
Bye everyone.
Yeah.
Love you all. Love you all dearly.
Thanks, everyone.
Much love.
Follow me on Twitter at BaskyBask.
Follow me on Twitter at Arptastic, and don't follow Basky.
Ugh.
Hey.